Around 6 months ago, I was still an Uber driver. I was making around what, uh, 200 or 300 at most a day. I knew something had to change, and bear with me, y'all. This is my first video, honestly. Especially talking to the camera like this. I don't have any equipment. I didn't buy any. We'll get to that later. But I was making around 200 or 300 a day on good days. Let's see, where do I begin? I was renting a car to do the Uber, so really what I was taking home probably less than $3,000 a month. I wasn't really happy with my life. Wasn't happy with what I was making, honestly. It wasn't enough. So I started gambling. Bad idea, honestly, but it went well. It was going somewhat well. What I would do was I would make like a quick $100 on Uber, and then I would deposit 20 to like $30 on Hard Rock, and then I would just do sports betting. It went well. Did a little bit of soccer and hockey. That's where it was going really well. It got to the point where I was making more than what I was making on doing Uber, driving for Uber. So I was like, let's continue and let's see where we can run it up to. Obviously, there was some losses involved, but it was definitely way more than what I was losing. Because I would lose one, and for every one I lost, I'd be winning like 8. It got to the point where, and it was all quick, very quick. It was very quick from when I started, because it was like a month or 2 months, maybe 3, of doing that, of doing 30 every day and just trying to make an extra like 15, 20 or $30 extra. Remember, I was making 200 or 300 a day, so it was a good amount. It was enough to pay for gas and all that. Let's see. I just got someone just messaged me because I'm selling this bad boy today. We'll get to that in another video, but I was trying to make 15 to 30 extra a day. It was going well. I was making my extra 15 to 30. Then I started getting in heavier, because I had more money now, so I didn't have to put in $30 per bet. I was starting to do like 200, 250. Then I got to 500. Then I got to $1,000 bets, $1,200 bets. But it was all very quick. It happened all in less than a month when it started going well, like really well, where I was making like $1,000 a day. Keep in mind, I was making 300 from Uber, working 300 on a very good day, working 18 hours, like driving the whole day. So I went in, not full time, but it was. I was on the app. I was on the Hard Rock app. On the Hard Rock app, basically, like 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day. Make 1,200, 2,000 a day. Boom. It got to the point where I grew my app balance to like 36,000. And that was 36,000, not including 15,000 that I had withdrawn. So if I do the math, I had made a good amount. And I also had 3,000 in the Apple savings. So it was 15 in the checking, 3 in the savings, 18 plus the 36 balance. $36,000 balance in the app. It was a good amount. What was it? Okay, it was a good amount. For me especially, I had never seen that kind of money. Being an Uber driver and all that. So I got to 36 on the high, then one day, just like every other story, you know. I think I lost, out of the 36, I went down to like 26. So I was like, oh my gosh. Just like I hadn't made that amount of money. I hadn't lost that amount of money. So I was like 10,000 in one day. Then I went down another 6. So it was like 16 basically. And after that, we were at 20, around there. It was, or a little under, honestly. It was like 18. So we had lost half of the account. 18,000. Honestly, if I remember well, I think that night it went down to like 6. I don't know. It went down. I don't even want to go back to it. And I'd have to go back on the statements a while back. But it went down to like, I think the lowest after the 36 was like 7, 8. It was a little under 10. That same night, I ran it back up to 26, 24, or 28. It was one of those. And then I had to cut the video real quick. And then I ran it back up to 24. After that, it basically went downhill. Trying to reach back to 36. I ended up depositing all 15. Like, it got bad. It got to the point where I was trying to make the loss back, and then I would lose, so then I would try to make the other loss back. So I would like triple down, quadruple down, you know. It got to the point where I was losing like 5,000 in a bet, and I was placing $5,000 bets just to make back the other amount. That killed basically the sports gambling thing. I went back down to basically 0 from what I had. And then I got, I said, if I'm going to be gambling, well, it got to the point too where it was, before I started losing a lot, it was, as soon as I would place a bet, my cash out would be 10% lower. So then I said, if I lost that money, after making a lot, obviously, and it's gambling, because that's what it was, I might as well put money into the market, since I was always interested in the stock market, crypto, all that, trading. And it's not going to be as bad, because any trade I place, it's not like it's going to go instantly down 10%, you know? But that's what basically was happening in gambling, right? Because I always saw gambling as investing, because you're trying to make money. At least I am, you know. I'm not trying to just gamble and have fun for the gamble of it. So I said it makes sense. You know, I'm not going to lose 10%. It's still gambling, because, you know, it's not like you have the answers 100% of the time, you know. Even if your win rate is really good, it's not going to be 100%. And if it is, then eventually it won't be, you know. Because I had a 99% win rate on trading as well. Let's see. So I think I deposited 2,000, around there. I think a little less or a little bit more. And plus the fees, I was depositing on I think I was getting like 3% less than whatever I was depositing. So I don't know if it was 2,000 or a little bit more, but it was around 2,000. I went into leverage trading. So basically, I could use more money than what I had, but it's on margin, so the risk is there that you lose everything. And that 2,000, I think I turned it into like 24 or 32. It was something like that. I don't know what was up with me and reaching 30s, all-time highs in my accounts. You know, like I was stuck at, I couldn't break past 36 or 37. I think I reached 37 max on the leverage account, and it was like 36 something on Hard Rock, not including what I had the cash, but those were the highs of my accounts. From 36, I lost, I think I went down like basically everything. I wanted to give up. It felt bad. It felt horrible, honestly. And what was it? I think I lost it all. All 2,000. Like, well, not 2,000. I lost the 2,000, which was my initial, and obviously the other 35 profit, because I reached 37. And when I say all of it, I mean like 90% down, you know? And you can't recover. It's been liquidated, you know? It's not like the position's still alive. I continued working during that time. I never really quit, really. When I quit was when it went well in trading, because it wasn't enough money to quit, really. The gambling. I deposited a little bit more. I think another 2,000. I think I was at like total like 4,000. The account after reaching 37, but there was no positions. There was no chance of getting back to the 37 without actively doing it myself, you know. It wasn't going to be in a trade that was already there. And I ran those up to like, finally broke the 30-40 range, and I ran it up to 58, 59. I didn't break 60, and if I broke 60, it was barely, like 62. I didn't reach 65. I had made $28,000 in like a week. This was somewhat quick too. The gambling was probably like a month of like craziness, and then the trading was probably 4 to 5 months, even 3, I would say. The craziness started at like, the craziness was like 3 months. The journey was like 5 months. But yeah, when I got into those 59, 60 range, it was from making 28,000 in probably like 3 days, I think. But it was from one trade. It was a Solana trade. I had used 14x leverage with, I think basically at that point it was like the whole account. So it was a very risky strategy. I wasn't using stop losses either. And those 56 ended up turning into 0. Well, not 0, but again, it went down. Actually, no, those turned into 0. It went down to like 250. From $250, I traded myself up to 200, and the high was 255,000. I bought this after I reached 255. And really, it was because I had made 132,000 in a week. And that was off another Solana trade before it went crazy. I think it was 165 to 230 something. So I had bought in. My position, my entry size was at 165. My entry price was 165 something, around there in the 160s. And I sold at 233 or 234.77. And I had made 132,000 in a week. That was from one position though. Like I didn't from the 200, I traded. But with basically the whole account. That's the only way it was gonna grow that amount that quickly, using the whole account on every trade. And it was literally either, there were times where I almost got liquidated, obviously. But it was just looking at the computer all day and, waiting for the right moment. Because really it's a game of patience. You realize, you're like, oh, and you'll just look at the screen, you'll be like, okay, I want to buy here. And you take that mental note, okay, I was going to buy there. And you'll notice most of the times you'll get a better entry just from waiting. So waiting is where you make money. And holding when you need a hold is also when you make money, because I could have sold it when I was up 56, when I was up 50, when I was up 60, when I was up 70, 80, and I didn't. I sold when I was up 130. But the problem is, you also have to be grateful to God and all that, especially grateful to God. But I got to the point where, I don't know, money stopped becoming, all I wanted to say is you guys can do it too. If I've done it multiple times, losing everything and then making it all back, you guys can do it too. I would suggest don't gamble, okay? Do not gamble. If you want to gamble it in the markets. Start off small. Start off small. Learn your lessons, Don't just lose money. You got to figure out why you lost money. Be patient. Trust in God. And a lot of things will go well for you, Do the right things. But that's my story. I went from driving Uber, started gambling, $30 a day, trying to make extra money. Ended up making like 30,000 in a week. And I ended up losing it all. So that's why I say don't gamble, It's never gonna be, you're never gonna get to a point where you'll say I'll stop. You never stop when you're up. A lot of people don't, at least. And everybody says, oh, I'll just stop when I'm up. Yeah, but then when you're up, you're not thinking about stopping. So I lost that, and then boom, put what I had left and what I was making off Uber into trading. Made 37, 36, lost it again. Ran that back up to 57, 59. Lost that. And then with an even smaller amount than all the other times before, I ran that up to 255. Don't be risky. Don't be impatient. Don't be emotional. And I hope you guys get inspired or motivated by my story today, or at least learn something, Don't gamble. Okay, see you guys in the next video.